Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm going to be using a spark of Art-spiration to get me started on an art journal page. Now, I love the sparks of Art-spiration because what they do is keep me from looking at a blank page or having nothing to start with. I've always got something to start with when I've got a spark. Now, if you're not familiar with what my sparks are, they're free and a part of my newsletters, and what you get is something like this. Each one has been different in every newsletter, and then you can print it out and play with it. And I'm going to share with you what I saw in this spark today. Well, here's the spark that I started with, and as soon as I turned it this way, I saw a big purple bunny in it. So I kind of traced it loosely with a pencil to kind of give myself an idea of where I want to cut, and then I just started chopping away at the excess paper. Now his ear, it's not nearly as long as I wanted, no big deal. I'm just going to cut right into the white paper to give him a nice big tall bunny rabbit ear. Now he also doesn't have a tail in this, but that's okay. I can cut him whatever I want. So I am going to fiddle around and actually give him a nice white cotton tail. Now what's going to be funny about this is as much as I really wanted the little funny tail on this bunny, which, and believe me, I really wanted it there, I'm actually, well, you'll see what happens to it. So I've got a piece of cardboard here with a layer of gesso on it. Now this is going to be one of my pages in one of my cardboard journals that I make in the free workshop called Permission to Play. So you can see how this becomes bound in a complete journal in that workshop, and I'll have a link down below for you. And you can see his tail that I worked so hard for? Yeah, it's going to get cut off because it's right on the edge of the paper. So now I'm going to attach my bunny rabbit down. I'm using gel medium and a blade, and I'm just putting a thin layer of gel medium on there, and I'm not being very careful or precise where it is. I'm not trying to get the exact shape of the bunny. I just need enough glue down there that I can slap that bunny rabbit down. And now it's time to say a fond farewell to the white fluffy cotton tail of this bunny rabbit. I'm going to use some scissors and sort of just cut that right off, and then I realized, oh wait, I don't have nearly enough glue over there, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to put a little bit more on there and stick it down. Now what I'm using right now is a laser print. You can do inkjet prints with this, laser prints with this, they both work. Now we all know that inkjet prints, if you get them wet, will run, but there's a way around that. If you take and just put a very thin swipe of gel medium on top of an inkjet print, then that will seal it so that you won't have the running issue. And that's something that you can see me do with an inkjet print in that workshop, Permission to Play. Well, that half white ear, it needs to be all a color to me. So I'm going to grab some pink. Now, does this pink exactly match the pink that was already under there? Absolutely not. Now, even though I made the spark with paints and colors that I have, I can never perfectly match anything once it's come out of a printer. So I don't even bother to try and perfectly match stuff. I just want to add some color onto his ear. Well, now that background, you didn't think it was really going to stay white, did you? So I'm putting some wonderful bright green on there just because it's a bright, happy color, and bunny rabbits to me that are, well, purple bunny rabbits are very happy bunny rabbits. I want to put a little bit of an outline around this bunny rabbit, but I'm also dealing with wet paint, which I know will ruin a pen, so that's why I just grabbed one of the scribble sticks that Dina Wakely created, just to put a little bit of an outline around it and not risk ruining any kind of pen. To get the flowers and the grass here, well, that's going to be the scribble sticks again, because you can tell by the shine on that paint, I have not waited for anything to dry. Now, following the very strict fashion guidelines that your ears should match your surroundings, I put some gelatos in the flowers to make them pop like his ears, and then I decided that was just a little too strict and stringent for me and added a bit more paint to the flowers. Well, I want to put a title on this page, and yeah, the ears are still wet, but that's not going to be a big deal. And I was trying to decide between adventure and travels. Now, the stencil that I'm using is called Are We There Yet? And I designed it for over at StencilGirl Products. And I decided, you know, does a purple bunny rabbit with pink ears go on adventures? Or is it about the traveling that one day of year when this bunny rabbit managed to get those eggs everywhere in those baskets? Well, I decided for this bunny, it's all about the travels. But I have a little bit of a problem because I want the word kind of going across the ear, but there's a chance that it's not going to stand out. I mean, across the green, if I put some orange paint on there that I'm just dabbing on with a cosmetic sponge, then of course it's going to pop on the green. But on the pink, it's not going to pop so much. So I need to make sure that I've got a whole lot of paint on there. And what I'm using is a heavy body paint, so basically a thick paint, and I'm putting copious amounts of it on there. So a lot of paint on there. So that means I'm living on the edge. When I lift this up, if I've got a lot of paint on there, there's a chance some of the paint could run under it. You can see I'm almost kind of like spatulaing it on there. There is a ton of paint because I really want that title to pop. So fingers crossed when I lift this up that it doesn't look all blobby. and it doesn't. And here's why. Because it was a heavy body paint. If I tried to do this with a really runny or fluid paint, it definitely would have run underneath. Now that big old green background, it's wonderful, but it's just a little too much wide open space of green. I needed something there, but I wanted something subtle, so I decided to grab my arched fountain stencil, also for over at StencilGirl, and I'm using some PBO metallic or iridescent paints, and I'm stenciling anywhere that I can see the green. So I can tell, don't go over the pink or the purple or the orange, because that's where the other stuff already is. So I'm just putting it on the background so that when I lift this up, I'm gonna have a subtle little hint of movement, a little more interest in the background than just if I'd left it as plain old green. I found a few words to add to this in a random page out of a book. So on the top right under travels, I've got the words to start. And then down here on the bunny, I'm putting there wasn't a geographic limit. Because after all, that one day a year, there are no limits for this bunny. So now I'm going to finish this off by putting a little border around it with the scribble sticks. Now the nice thing about the scribble sticks is you can use them like a crayon or a colored pencil the way I am right now, but when they hit water, they react and run and smear. So even though this looks kind of like a little sloppy woppy kind of border here, it's going to look very different once I put a little bit of water on it. So plain water, plain old brush, and then I am just going to put water along it, and you see how it reacts and starts to become much softer, much more like a watercolor. Well, thanks so much for joining me for the play. If you'd like to get your very own Sparks of Art-spiration to download and print off to use at home, head on over to the blog at acolorfuljourney.com and get signed up for my newsletter. And of course, if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button so you'll know as soon as I have a new video out. Thanks for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.